Now I want to take you to a town really right down the street here from the studios. And when I said I was going to move to Texas, the New York Times and everybody else said, oh, Waco. When we told you about Independence, USA, that's exactly how the mainstream media reported it. Waco, instead of being a place that is open, that is a park and a beacon of hope and industry, it becomes a compound. Like Ruby Ridge, the Waco tragedy ended up resulting in the deaths of 4 federal agents and 82 Branch Davidians, including 25 children. But it began under the very same circumstances, or darn close. Fringe beliefs and a weak gun charge. Just remember that. Fringe beliefs depend on your perspective. Ruby Ridge, it's out of control government. It's crazy, government, and the world is going to, that's fringe belief. And then you get into the Aryan Nation, fringe belief. Waco, it's religious belief. I think it's fringe. I think it's crazy. But that was enough to get people in, but not enough to cause the real problem. They need search warrants. In Ruby Ridge, it was a 1/4-inch sawed-off shotgun. Sawed off 1/4 inch, too short. Does that seem reasonable to anybody? In Waco, a search warrant was issued at the Mount Carmel Center Ranch, property of the Branch Davidians, because one of the main sources of revenue for the group was selling guns. But they did so legally. The government warrant admitted as much. The ATF was not coming because there was any proof that they were buying or selling illegal weapons of any kind. The warrant's justification was that the Davidians might be modifying legal arms into illegal arms. And there were tips that perhaps there was more than met the eye.
In early May of 1992, a UPS truck was making a routine delivery to Mount Carmel. A package accidentally opened, revealing hand grenades, a tip-off that the arms the Davidians were trading in were not all legal. The incident led to an 8-month investigation by the ATF. The agency traced shipments to the camp of an extraordinary array of weaponry, from grenade launchers to assault rifles.
I have those assault rifles again. David Koresh, he was the leader. He told his followers that he was the last messenger from God before the return of Jesus Christ. And he was under the belief that he was given a revelation from God and commanded to father 24 children. Do I believe any of that? No. Do you? No. But people did. He believed these 24 children would ultimately serve as the ruling elders over millennium after the return of Christ. Series of articles appeared in the Waco Tribune Herald on the sinful Messiah, in large part because he was fathering these children with multiple wives and allegedly with underage girls as young as 14. Okay? Here's where it gets sticky. The law at the time, apparently, 14-year-olds could get married with parental consent, and that was apparently happening. However wrong that is, there was no proof that Koresh had broken any laws in any regard to this. So, kooky belief, trumped up charge. There was no proof. There were lots of rumors, no real evidence about them even being a threat. In fact, the people in Waco liked them. Watch.
Well, you had a bunch of women, children, elderly people. They were all good people. They had different beliefs from others, different beliefs than I have, or maybe different beliefs than you have in their way of life, and especially in their religious beliefs. But basically, they were good people. I was around them quite a lot. They were always nice, mannerly. They minded their own business. They were never overbearing. They were always clean and courteous. I liked them.
Okay, that's just not somebody, that's the sheriff. Remember I told you the sheriffs, you got to make friends with your sheriffs. But did you hear what he said? That's the real American attitude that we've lost. You know, they had different beliefs, not mine, but they were good people. live and leave each other alone. But the government had a warrant, so they had the right to arrest Koresh and bring him in peacefully. But that's not what happened. They didn't go to the sheriff. At 9:45 a.m., February 28th, 76 ATF agents raided the compound in a massive show of force. The operation was called Showtime. An operation? At some point, shortly after the raid got underway, shots were fired. It's unclear who shot the first shots, although the door with the bullet holes that would prove who started it was mysteriously lost. But I want you to hear the 911 call from the Waco compound after the siege began.
Hello? Yeah, there's 75 men around our building and they're shooting at us at Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel? Yeah, tell them there are children and women in here to call it off. I hear gunfire. Who is it? Wayne! Wayne! Tell me what's happening, Wayne. We got women and children in danger. Wayne! I'm under fire! I'm gonna call it off! What? I'm gonna pull back! I have a right to defend myself! They started firing first!
I'm showing you this tonight for a reason, and you have to watch the end of the show. The ATF agents on site had little or no contact with anybody. How's that possible? The 911 operator was audibly frustrated because he didn't have anybody to give the information to, so the shooting just continued. Finally, a ceasefire was reached at 11:30 a.m. That's 2 long hours of shooting. After the raid was over, 4 ATF agents and 6 Davidians were dead. It was an ugly scene. These were, by all accounts, peaceful people. The sheriff loved them. Why didn't just a couple of agents show up with the door and the sheriff show up and ask him, come on, we have to talk to you? For the next 51 days, the Davidians were plastered all over the news, holed up at their compound, and most Americans scratched their head and said, what the hell's going on? Koresh even gave several interviews. But as the standoff dragged on and the negotiations failed, the government, specifically Janet Reno, grew impatient. And the media was spinning these religious kooks like crazy. Janet Reno began ramping up. She ramped up the claims that babies were now being beaten and possible mass suicides were imminent. She justified an assault on the compound. This is now the Clinton administration. The FBI later denied evidence of child abuse during the standoff. Finally, President Clinton relented and allowed Reno to order the final assault on the compound, and it happened April 19th. Agents again rushed in and tried to flush the Davidians out. They used an armored vehicle to knock the walls down. You got kids in there. Initially, Reno claimed they didn't use incendiary devices, canisters and devices, but that was later proven incorrect. They used them that morning in the final day of the siege. If nothing else, this showed a lack of transparency and lies by the government about the raid.
About 50 minutes ago, we watched this M60 armored vehicle move in and out of what appeared to be the front portion of the south portion of the building and insert more tear gas and still more tear gas, and then we saw flames break out, and wind blew and blew and blew, and the flames steadily spread throughout the compound. And this has taken us what we've been like this in flames for the better part of an hour now.
It's funny, we know the killer in Columbine. We know the killer in Sandy Hook. We know the madman in Colorado in the movie theater. How come we don't know the bad guys in this one? Ended up killing most of the 76 Branch Davidians who died in the final assault, including the children. Most of them died. That's what it looked like afterwards. Massive fire, burned the compound to the ground. What started that fire? I'm not really sure. FBI surveillance tapes indicate that the Davidians were pouring fuel before the 3 fires broke out. But 6 hours later, it looked like this. The entire compound leveled. And Koresh and most of his followers are dead. Out of control government? No, it can never happen here. Back in a minute.